Hi, kindergarten. This is our last week with our unit. I'm super excited to finish up learning about weather and sunlight. We're going to do some reflecting this week and looking back at our unit and all that we've learned. So for day one, remember our question that we're trying to investigate: how do we stay safe from severe weather? Remember, we've been focusing on severe weather lately. So this week, we're going to make posters that show how we think people in our area can stay safe when severe weather happens. To get ready to make posters, let's look at some pictures of ways people prepare for severe weather in different places. So some places have tornadoes. So they have shelters that may look like this that keep them safe during a tornado. Okay, it's a room with no windows and it's very safe and locked down, and it's low to the ground. Okay, this is the outside and that's the inside of it. Okay, look closely at this pictures. These are sandbags. Okay, do you see how the sandbags are helping the water from flooding stay away from their house? Okay, that's how they keep the flood from getting to their house. They stay safe that way. Okay, a lot of people also have safety kits. Okay, things like food, canned food, so just in case they have an emergency. They might have some tools, they might have a first aid kit, a light, some water, maybe a radio, maybe some bread or something just to keep them going in case something happened. Okay, and then they might have some extra clothing. Clothing is going to keep them safe from some severe weather. And not only, looking at these clothes, the type of clothes or severe weather that I would wear these clothes is probably like a blizzard or a snowstorm, okay? So you'd want to protect your hands, your head, and your neck from being exposed to that cold weather during a snowstorm or a blizzard. Okay. Sometimes it gets really hot outside and cooling stations can be a way to keep people safe, right? They are in the cooling station getting misted on. There's a fan, she's getting misted on. Okay. What other ideas do you have about preparing for severe weather? What else do you think we can do? Okay. And then on day two, predicting severe weather helps people to prepare for it so they can stay safe. We've talked about a few examples about how people prepare for severe weather. Now we can share what we've learned to help others. So let's kind of brainstorm together. What types of severe weather happen here in the place where we live? Okay. I'm thinking, it is almost summertime, and during summertime, I know there's a lot of thunderstorms. Okay. So I know that thunderstorms are one type of severe weather that happen here. Okay. Let's think of some other ones. Tornadoes. Tornadoes could very likely happen here, and we might need to stay safe from those, okay? What about blizzards? Okay, it is definitely possible for a blizzard to happen here. Do they happen often? No, not too much here in Kentucky, but they definitely could. It's not out of the question, right? What about severe heat? Okay, that could happen during the summertime, right? It could be severely hot, and we need to make sure we stay inside and keep cool, right? What about hurricanes? Do you think hurricanes could happen here? No, since we don't live on the coast, the hurricanes really can't get inland this far. Okay, so it would die off before it hit Kentucky. Okay, now we would probably get some pretty heavy rain from a hurricane, but I think we live in a place that is pretty safe from hurricanes. Okay, what about flooding? Flooding could happen, and it also kind of depends on where you live, right? I know my house is more on top of like a hill, so we don't have, if it was to flood out, it would probably flood at the bottom of our, backyard, but it wouldn't really get into our house, right? And the same with Mill Creek, right? Mill Creek is on top of a hill, and the stream in the backyard might get a lot of water and raise really high, but it probably wouldn't affect Mill Creek too much, okay? I'll show you how to make a severe weather poster, and I'm going to talk to you about what type of severe weather I will show on our poster. Then we'll discuss how people prepare for that severe weather. So I decided to use tornadoes, okay? So at the top I wrote preparing for tornadoes. We're going to need to decide what we're going to draw on our poster, okay? We need to show what type of weather and at least one way people can prepare for it. So here's what I did. okay? This poster is a picture of what a tornado might look like, okay? And you can look that up on the internet if you don't remember what a severe weather might look like. And it shows a tornado in some ways that people prepare. So one way that people can prepare for a tornado is to listen to weather scientists. Another way is to stay inside away from windows, okay? Those are the two ways that they could prepare. So I want you guys to choose a type of severe weather. You can talk about it with someone at home and decide what to show on your poster, and then you can work to make the poster on your own, okay? Or with someone at home if you'd like. And it doesn't have to be tornado. It can be any of the ones that we've talked about, okay? Then on day 3, so we've learned a lot about weather, temperature, and how sunlight warms surfaces. One of the things that scientists do is think back and describe the things that they have learned. This helps scientists understand and remember new ideas in the future. So we learned a lot about weather to help Woodland and Carver principals to understand why sunlight and weather do different things at each school. I remember we read this book, What is the Weather Like Today? It was about a girl who observed the weather and the temperature each day. Do you remember this book? I remember we learned about different types of weather and how to describe different temperatures as cold, cool, warm, or hot. We looked at things that help us learn about sunlight and weather. What is something that you remember using? What did you learn from it? So I want you to think back, and you can talk to someone at home about this. Think back to something you remember using. This might be a book that we read. This might be an investigation we did, and that might be in school or out of school, okay? It might be something you saw in one of my videos. It might be something that we looked at the data, okay? Maybe we observed something. When we were in school, we started to take observations of the weather, but we didn't quite get to do that the rest of the year. So that would have been something really cool. And then I want you to talk to about someone, or tell someone about something you learned this unit. Okay, so since we've been talking about weather and sunlight, what have you learned and what made you learn that? Okay, you can share your ideas about some of the things you've learned. Remember, you can use this to think about the things that we have learned. We've learned about the different types of weather: sunny, cloudy, rainy, windy, and snowy. We've learned about temperature, going anywhere from very cold, cold, cool, warm, hot, and very hot. And we've learned about the sunlight on Earth's surfaces. Okay, we learned at night, the surfaces are cold, whether they are dark or pale. In the morning, we learned that the surfaces are warm, and then when they're dark, but cool surfaces or pale surfaces are still pretty cool. Okay, in the afternoon, when the sun's been shining a long time, usually those dark surfaces are really hot. And then the pale surfaces are a little warm, but not as hot as the dark surfaces. Okay, that moves us on to day 4. So how do we describe the weather that we observe? I want you to just think about that. How would we describe it? What would we say? Why were the playground surfaces different temperatures over the day? We talked about this a lot. Let's think about the new ideas we've learned. We've also figured out so many new ideas about sunlight and weather and about how scientists study the world. We have seen that people from many different backgrounds are scientists and engineers. So here's our day 5. These cards show the playground and the temperature of their surfaces at different times. Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions, and these are the same questions in your packet, and you can use these cards as well. When you're answering these questions, it's okay to just talk about these with your siblings or adults in the house. And if you don't feel comfortable writing those answers down, that's fine too. Okay, as long as you're talking about them with someone, that's fine. You can see here that the surface of Carver Playground is cold at night, cool in the morning, and warm in the afternoon. The surface of Woodland Playground is cold at night, warm in the morning, and hot in the afternoon. Imagine that you're talking to students from both schools and want to explain to their principal why the playgrounds are different. I want you to just explain your ideas about the way you would explain to the students, okay? What would you tell the students at Carver? What would you tell the students at Woodland about why their playgrounds are different? Explain why the surfaces of both playgrounds get warm, but the surface of the Woodland playground gets even warmer than the surface of the Carver playground. Remember to think about those dark and pale surfaces. As we've been learning about sunlight and temperature, we've been talking about cause and effect. One thing causes something else in effect. How can we investigate to see if one thing causes another thing to happen? If we wanted to find out whether sunlight shining on a surface like the playgrounds causes the surfaces to get warm, what could we do to investigate that? We use materials like these to make models of the sun and Earth's surface. How would you use these materials to make a model that is like nighttime and daytime? We've learned that scientists think carefully about how their models are like and not like the real things that they want to learn about. We use the lamp model to learn about the sun as well as the Earth's surfaces, like the playgrounds. Okay, so imagine that the lamp is turned on. How is our lamp model like the sun and like the Earth's surface? How is our lamp model not like the sun or the Earth's surface? Because it's not the sun, right? So how is it different? And guys, you made it to the end. I'm so excited that you guys got to be weather scientists this year, and I can't wait to see what questions you have about weather and sunlight and all the exploring you're going to continue to do with this. I hope you guys have a great summer. Next week, you're going to be watching a video for Stream Day, and you're going to be able to do some activities that have to do with Stream, okay? Because we didn't get to do our Stream Day this year, we'll get to do it kind of online. So that should be really fun. Look out for that. Miss you guys.